Funding for pigchefer is provided by iCreatePro. Tune until the end to find out how you can hack your way to victory. Just like how I wish I could hack my brain into 1,000,000 pieces right now, because this musical has turned me completely insane, and I am never, ever coming back. For the longest time of my life, I have been deeply in love with music. In my mind, nothing could ever come close to the character and scale and wonder every song I listened to contained. Maybe it only lasts a few minutes, but those minutes were something I would remember for the rest of my life. And in a world where videos and art and films release every hour, I've always believed the greatest honor I could achieve is for my work to be remembered too. So for years, I dreamed to create one for my own. I'd imagined the most grand musical scene for my animated series where my character bursts all her emotions out. I'd imagined a version of my growing up video where everyone on stage sings all their thoughts instead of just saying them. Heck, in every script I've ever made, I'd write what I dreamed to compose for it, for I knew if I could even make just one song, it would make my work feel all the more special. But I've always been too afraid to actually begin. On my life, I always knew that any note I would play would in time turn to something I would be ashamed of forever. But if there's anything scarier than that, it's letting your dreams go to waste. So when I chose to start the most ambitious project I would write in my life, I also chose that this was something I want you to remember. You might remember it as that silly little musical and that pigchefer film you'll watch every now and then, but I remember it as a journey over 9 long months to prove myself wrong. That I could write and compose and animate, that I could find people who share my same vision, that I could create something half as beautiful as what I fell in love with all those years ago. And I want to tell you about that journey. I want to tell you how I, a nobody with no music experience, created a musical from start to finish that proved to the world that you can do anything. Or maybe it didn't. I don't know what any of y'all think. I'm writing this video in the closet. All my animation gear is stuck outside because life locked me in the closet. I haven't seen a single person in weeks. So you're just gonna have to deal with this setup for now. But don't worry, life feeds me. I love the taste of burnt crayons in the morning. I even decorated the walls with a wrapper so y'all wouldn't be bored. That's peak pig content right there. But enough about me. Let's recap this story from the very beginning, starting out with... Hello everyone, my name is pigchefer, and I am the writer of If Life Was Meant with a Friend. As a writer, one of my most important jobs is to make sure that every part of a script is filled with meaning, and that this meaning seamlessly intertwines with the rest of the video. With this film, you already know that this meaning comes through the song, but for months, I didn't even know I wanted to make a song for it at all. You see, for most of this film's production, I wanted to structure the video's message of loneliness into 3 sections. An intro where my goal is to have friends, a middle where I try and fail to reach this goal, and an end where I confront this goal with what I truly feel about having to make friends. But no matter how hard I tried, I don't know, it kind of felt like this goal was too vague. Like it was more of a mushy, pandering idea in my head rather than something you could actually relate to. Something cool I thought of to fix this issue was to make a character who symbolizes this goal, so we can remember a person and not just some intangible idea. In the scrap version of the video I shared on my second channel, this character was Church Girl. She was a friend I really cherished at the time, and I thought if I had to confront someone at the end, it better be someone who actually matters. Which went super well until she dumped me halfway through making it. Thanks a lot. Which is how I learned to never rely on a real person again. Thankfully, while making the current version of the film, I was an expert loner who talked to no one in college because I was too busy animating. And it was through animating my first job video when I had an idea for a fictional character to play this role, a character named Life. In my script, Life represents my conscience, a mishmash of all the friends and figures in my life who push this goal on me. So much so that I literally see this goal as a god. I figured that making a character that was larger than life be the source of all my motivation made the goal she gives me of making friends feel all the more pressuring. And even better, since she only exists in my mind, I can do whatever the trick I want with her. Life can fly and multiply and teleport out of thin air, and there's nothing you can do about it. But for however illogical she may be, she makes my emotions at the end feel so much more real. Because she cares. But how do we know she cares? How do we know that me having friends is so important to her that this is her sole purpose in the story? Does she just tell me I need friends? Do you know how boring this video would be if all she did was tell me? Do you know how much potential I waste if a literal god of my conscience, who can do literally anything, just reads off a script and then flies away? You think I'd do that? Do you think I would literally just do that? Yes. Do you want to know one of my favorite movies of all time that isn't a musical? Disney Pixar's Soul is, and that's exactly what inspired the intro of the video. Both these films start off with a tiny character, a confrontation with some otherworldly entity, and a descent of this character to some other place. Nothing really happens during the descent in Soul other than the opening credits, so I wanted to try using this part to integrate my goal into. My first idea was to make life and the people in her life doors all individually chant that a friend is what I need. And since I already wanted original background music for the video, I thought it would also be cool if the chanting harmonized with it. No musical yet, just words and music. And that was a creative enough idea for me. That is, until I got this. Suddenly, I don't want to drop out of college anymore. You'll see, the exact same time I was figuring out what the trick to do with this scene, one of our art school teachers gave everyone the assignment of drawing me. And I won't say their drawings were bad. I mean, look at my humans. I don't know what the trick I'm talking about. But my classmates felt so bad about their work being unique enough that they wanted to make it up to me, which is how we got to my go-to Kiko. Now, people could say anything to me. There's a lot you could promise me and not actually do. Shout out to all my professors. But when you get a guy that's repurposed 17 billion anime themes on YouTube and made the song with the girl in college who's made more money on that one video than I've made my entire life, it gets the trust noggin thinking. Okay, if this guy is being for real and I'm being for real about this film, what if, just hear me out real quick, what if, instead of life chanting "a friend is all I need while I descend," she sang "a friend is all I need while I descend"? That's gonna shock the 3 people who still watch me. Which was enough motivation while writing the rest of the script to jot down my first ideas for the song. You see, my writing process boils down to just turning random thoughts I have into bullet points and then grouping all those bullet points into larger schools of thought when I have enough of them. For example, here are the bullet points I wrote for my first job video. When starting the actual script for it, I grouped these points into topics about finding courage, acquiring skills, and wholesome talks with my employer. So for this video, whenever I'd have any random thoughts about friends and family, I would pull out my phone and write them on some bullets. I've actually shown these bullets in the behind the scenes stream I did a few days after the video's release. If there's anything I missed in this video, I probably mentioned it there because, like a good boy, I preserved it. You can see that I grouped them into 2 schools of thought. The first half of the song being how friends are supposed to make you happy, and the second half saying what people say will happen if I don't make friends. I wanted to structure it this way because that's exactly how people convince me in real life too. When I'm still young, they tell me how happy mingling with others will make me. And as I grow up, they tell me how sad and unsuccessful I will be if I don't connect. Which is why I've written bullets such as "teamwork makes the dream work," and "friends are forever and will stick with you till the end." And sadder stuff like "you're not really living if you're living alone," and "humans are meant to be social creatures." My personal favorite is the phrase "art is collaborative," because literally no one in my class could shut their little yapper about how you can only make films with connections. And that's exactly why I hate people. After this stage, I left the rest of the lyrics alone until I could finish with the rest of the script. Partially because as a writer, I wanted the song's message to fit in with the non-musical bits once they were complete, mostly because I'm a coward. Another stage of the process I could do in the meantime was figure out the general tune of the song. This way, once I write the final lyrics, I'll have a rough idea how long the song is and how many syllables to include in each section. Now, I took a lot of inspiration from random stuff on my YouTube break, including but not limited to the Sophia the First OST and the 5-hour Shea Frillis cut of Beauty and the Beast, but I want to focus on 2 specific places. Now, some of you might remember when I was in my Olivia Rodrigo phase in senior year. You don't know how much I want to delete these videos, I swear. Well, I am pleased to inform all 2 of you that I'm still in my Olivia Rodrigo phase. There's nothing you can do about it. And look, I don't even like 1 step forward, 3 steps back all that much. My sour heart lies with deja vu like a normie. But for some reason, I kept coming back to the song while thinking of the notes, which is why my first idea for the song sounded something like... My second inspiration is an album you may have heard before. It's an album some of you may keep leaving comments about on my videos for some reason, and that is a little album called Hawaii Part 2. All you need to know about this album is that I'm scared of it. I mean, I couldn't tell you why, but it might be because some of this video. But on my YouTube break, I'd made friends with someone else who also loved Hawaii Part 2. That gave me the confidence to give it another chance, and let me tell you, the comments were right. this is peak. I especially loved the first and last tracks of the album. I loved the fun lyrics and the energy and the transitions. Some of you have already pointed out that the swelling of the music when my pig self floats down the screen gave huge Dream Suite and C major vibes. And you are absolutely correct, that song is epic. But you might also be pleased to learn that the middle chunk of the song was actually inspired by the second track of the album too. I loved its charming energy and I wanted to try replicating that here. So for my dreary first iteration, I moved the key higher and the tempo much faster, which brings us to... That's more like it. Which meant that when I finally finished the rest of the script, I had enough ideas to be slightly more prepared. Slightly. I still didn't have enough lyrics, I didn't have enough melodies, I didn't want to resort to copy-pasting the same motif 50 times, and that's where the real thinking really began. I would think at my room, at the shower, at my school, at the mall, in the car, in the church, in the hotel. You could literally point to any lyric in the song and I could tell you with certainty where I was when I wrote it. I remember I was at the mall with my family when I wrote this verse and I figured out the epic line about EXO at the clothes store. I was wandering around looking for hats for the closet scene at the end of the film and suddenly I realized that no rhymes with EXO. And oh, here's a funny story. Remember the GD Awards? Well, I didn't. I remember waking up that morning completely forgetting the nominations existed when my parents took me out to eat breakfast at the nearby cafe. And the entire time I was zoning out and trying to come up with some banging lyrics for the first verse. Then an hour later, I suddenly remember, so I borrow my mom's phone and see a bajillion congratulation comments and get hit with so much catharsis that I jump out the cafe and could not think of any more lyrics for the next 48 hours. So thank you, Embed, for delaying this video by 2 days, and a big special thank you to everyone that voted the Rock Top video in the awards without even watching mine. I love you. And ooh, the ending of the song where it swells down, it's all quiet and calm. We were rolling our suitcases to our hotel room. The entire lobby was empty. We sit down in these funny looking chairs because the room was so far. I was asking my bro why the escalator kept turning on and off. And then I was like, ooh, we could twist the first motif to be like a winding staircase and move all the notes a few steps down and simplify the chords. And we can go back to my last videos and keep talking about ambition and making people happy because that's all I seem to care about. And then I remembered I finished the lyrics at college because the professors didn't show up and someone in class played a Taylor Swift song out loud, which made me go like, I cracked the code. And then the next day I'm walking around campus speeding through the final chunk, coming up with rhymes super quickly, unleashing all this weird vocabulary and checking my view count every 5 minutes because the awards got us booming. And finally, after a grueling month in the lab, I finished writing the entire song. Now, maybe what I'm saying is copium, but I actually think saving writing the song for the very end actually helped nail the storytelling. And that is because of one single line.
Well, that's the thing, Matthew. I'm not really real. None of this really matters. All of it is just in your head.
As I wrote the story of this video, I wanted to give myself an arc where I grow from relying on what others tell me for my life goals to taking what I truly want from life into my own hands. Life is not real. She cannot hurt me. Unless it's locking me in the closet. Guys, I'm never getting out of here. And life being just an imaginary force in my film meant 2 things for the song. That her motivation for me getting friends is stuff you already know I want, and that the conflicts she say come from not having friends are things that already happened in my life. You'll see, EXO did not happen before I was born because life is a liar. And that's exactly why I put that lyric in the video. Other than stuff about me, I also wanted the song to truly show what the character life is like. And that's simple. She knows and creates all life, at least I think she does at this point in the story, and she has a snarky, know-it-all, but truly caring and motherly personality. I wanted each of these 4 things to equally immerse you throughout the song, so I gave these 4 things their own distinct section. Another technique of the song structure that I'm really proud of is the internal rhyming. You see, as a rhythm-based platformer, I sense the world through seeing different patterns. So when I write and create art, I like embedding patterns into my own work too. With writing the song, that was through the rhyming scheme. Usually, when you write a song, your rhyming words would look something like this. But with internal rhyming, I made my rhymes look like this, putting similar sounding words in between lines for maximum catchy effect. I think I learned this through a Shay Frillo's video I was watching when I was lonely, because that's a guy I watch when I'm lonely. And I've always assumed the catchy rhymes of real musicals was only possible through the teamwork and combined vocabulary of a dozen high IQ men, but I made these rhymes by myself, baby. Really, the only person that even knew I was writing a song was the Hawaii Part 2 girl I was chatting with online. She wasn't exactly the writing type per se, so she couldn't help that much, but I'd still show her such banger lines as the same woe they know for nothing but EXO. Can you tell I'm proud of that line? And honestly, I didn't care that much if she couldn't help. I didn't care that much that most of our conversations were completely unrelated to the video, and that artistry in a social environment distracts me so much that the video ends up being delayed by over a month. I was happy. I was the happiest I've ever been. She's so nice. But you don't care about my happiness. You care about the song. And what good is a song with nothing to listen to? Hey everyone, pigchefer here, the musical's biggest demo artist. Now I know you might be confused why I'm even talking about this step, but just trust me, we'll get into it. You see, now that I have the lyrics and the composition of the song all done, this would mean I could pass it over to other people and get it actually produced, right? Well, not exactly. Just by looking at my notes, there's only so much you can understand about what this song actually sounds like. I say in the video script that I wanted something that combines an anime opening with Broadway theater. And that's it. How would they know what notes to use? How the song will be timed? What instruments to play? All these are things I know the answers to already, but this is where my near zero music experience really kicks in. What I assume people do is go up to their music person's house and then just talk them through all the details and they just magically understand. But I don't know how to talk music. My time with music basically comes down to when my parents made me sing songs on video when I was a baby, when my parents made me play a few years of piano when I was stuck on level 3 for so long that I quit, and when my teachers forced me to learn the violin where during my last recital I was literally pretending to rub the bow on the strings. If I actually went and sat with a music guy, my instructions would probably be just repeating the phrase, make the note higher for 5 hours. Also, I hate people and I want to be a loner. I mean, except with the Hawaii Part 2 girl, she's my partner now. She's not scary. I'm not gonna regret saying that. So I figured my best way of communicating what the song really sounds like without having to talk to a big scary man is make a very, very, very rough version of the song all by myself. Because I'm just so good at making music that making an anime Broadway sounding song is completely possible on my first attempt, isn't it? And that all starts with this piece of paper. This is something I planned each part of the song on at college, since I thought planning things at school made work at home much more efficient. Think of this paper as my wacky form of sheet music. These words here are the lyrics, these dots are each beat, these notes are the instruments, and these letters on top of the lyrics here are the chords of the song. Now I don't know how to actually name chords, nor do I know what notes even go with each other, so most of my time was spent humming the song on loop until I found 3 notes that didn't sound completely horrible, and then write them down. You know what does sound horrible? Playing my instruments. I haven't told this to anyone out of sheer utter embarrassment. But in this video, which is unlisted by the way, please don't watch it, I wanted to make a sort of demo for the ending too. So I went downstairs to play my piano and it's out of tune. Great, I'm never touching this again. Which means unless I wanted to fake play the violin again, I had to make the entire song on the computer. Now, learning apps is scary. I took one look at After Effects and never opened that thing again. That's right, I animate in Premiere, the keyframes are great! So knowing that I had to learn another app for this video was very daunting. I remember the last time I wanted to make a song for a video, oh man, I was so confident, I was so ready to download GarageBand, and then I opened the app and I get so embarrassed of my 5 piano notes and never opened that thing again. Well, now is not the time to chicken out. So I got back GarageBand, opened up YouTube, and spent countless hours to study so many tutorials, and by so many, I mean one video. By this guy. At 1.5 speed. It was good. Something that kind of worried me was my lack of an actual keyboard, as we've established earlier. You see, computers only have one cursor, so unless I pull off some black magic, I'd only be able to click one key at a time. Well, not to worry, because this tutorial introduced me to musical typing. Instead of having to do this, I can just do this. Or I could just manually draw the notes on screen because no one told me that's possible. Now, because I already planned each chord out on my lucky piece of paper, playing all the notes took no time at all. It made it so efficient that I even had time to put even more instruments and more notes. I was in the zone, bro. I felt like a real musician. In fact, I would be so down to actually learn real music production if it weren't for the fact that I'm in stinky college right now. Ooh, you don't understand how much I want to take a year off from college. Dumb stinky $2,000 a month goal. I'll deal with you later. And that just leaves one tiny part. The vocals. Now look, yes, I've made 3 big videos where I've sung covers of pop songs. Yes, I would not stop singing Justin Bieber lyrics out loud in 2021. But man, I do not feel secure about my singing voice. People leave nice comments about my voice when I do sing, but I can't help but feel like half of them are coping. Not to mention my brother texts me to shut my mouth whenever I sing in online class. So I needed to find a moment where I was completely alone. And even then, there was one problem. You see, the character Life is canonically she, they. Story-wise, I wanted to do this for a reason that I call storytelling through contrast. Since who I am misaligns so much with Life's goal for me, placing as many differing characteristics between both of our characters as I can will help create a stronger divide between me and her. Hence why I'm the only male I talk about in the whole video. It's not because I'm a fallen Sigma. Puzz Lego! Now you might be wondering why that's a problem. Well, I am not a girl. I know I'm jumping the gun a bit time-wise here, but I swear, one of the people I got to sing this song took a listen and said something like, am I supposed to sing it this low? People already say my voice is high, bro. I literally can't get this demo to be correct. I can't. So I speed ran singing this song Monday morning, listened to it twice, felt somewhat satisfied, and never played it again. On the bright side, now that I finished a version of my song, it's time for its first true test. The reaction. One of my main goals for the song was the surprise factor. If this musical did not send people flying out of their seats, I will have failed as a first-degree loser. This meant that I couldn't talk about the existence of this song to 99.999% of people because if everyone expects it, no one will care. I didn't even show this to my family, bro, and they know everything. My plan was to only share the song to those who already knew about the video, and friends who I trust. Among these people include Kukiko, ST Cubing, Mattmart from the channel Mattmart, and the girl who took me out to pizza. And they were like, bro, this is your first song? This is what you made with no musical experience? Are you lying to me, bro? And that is honestly pretty reassuring if you ask me. Let's just ignore the fact that Tricky Jim leaked the song to 9,000 people on stream. Let's just forget about that. I mean, Mattmart wanted to voice life after hearing this thing. Now I wasn't gonna let him because he's the straightest man on earth, but it was nice. It was flattering. You should tell him in his comments to make a cover of it so I get more views. I even sent a copy to Hawaii Part 2 girl and she's not reading my text anymore. I'm never online dating again. Unfortunately, in this stage of the process, I do have to actually start asking help from people and socialize online, though. Or, what if you just find something else to do? Alone? Can you tell I hate people? Hello, I'm pigchefer, and I'm the animator of this video. I'm also a freaking liar. I feel like people calling me an animator is a bit of a misnomer. Animator implies what I do is that I make a picture here, and then I make a picture here, and then I make a picture here, and then I make a picture. And look, I do draw a lot of pictures. Why else would the girl in my DMs keep begging me to stop overworking so much? I don't know. But my job isn't that insane. I'd probably call myself more of a digital artist and motion designer, honestly. I just say animator because that's 10 times more attractive. Really, all I do is draw pictures in Photoshop and make them move in the editor. The real struggle of my job isn't even the art, it's that I keep feeling lonely all the time. Do you think that girl will be my friend? Anyways, if you spent any time with me while animating, you probably know that my process is that I have no process. Usually I'd pick a random line in the script, do whatever I want with it, and just figure out how to make it fit in later. That is the most efficient method, I believe. But the thing about this musical is that it needs scale. It's absolutely necessary that every single picture makes the scene feel larger than life, so much so that you get transported to a whole other world. Hence why in the video Tricky Jim asked me to animate during the writing of the song, I thought I would try to do something different and plan all of my drawings in advance. I would divide the paragraphs into smaller sections called shots, write each character and movement I want for each shot, and roughly when in each passage these characters and movements occur. The GLC video was an intentionally simpler looking video, mostly because I wanted to get it over with. But even then, most of the animation process doesn't even come from the drawing itself, but the idea making. So I think getting that over with first did help my mindset once I began the real work. So when I finished that project and came back to my musical, I once more decided that I would plan each shot first. Again, the song can be divided into 4 sections with 4 goals: world building, motivation, conflict, and ground in reality. So I also made sure to write what types of backgrounds and colors would suit them best. The first section was where I wanted the size of the world to truly hit, so the blue backgrounds would be the majority of the focus. The second part would be a sharp contrast with a background out of view, focusing on the yellow doors and the characters in them. The third section would be darker and more self-contained, less like it was in an infinite void like before. And the last part would be, in real life. Planning the characters is easy, there's literally only 2 of them, which leaves just one part left. The life doors. I have this rule in my art that every single thing that I draw must mean something. In my productions, that means at the very least, every single person I draw must be a real guy. I can't just draw some nobody blob as a stand-in, no, they gotta be real and have real meaning to me. So figuring out every single person to draw and every single life door was... If you haven't watched the actual musical yet, first of all, I'm in your walls. And second, life doors in this film are supposed to be gateways to see how a person writes their own life. So solving how to tie real life people's whimsies and motivations to every lyric of the song took quite a bit of thought. I do have a few methods to come up with ideas a little easier, but let me say that again. A little. For example, drawing people who mean the world to me, including the girl in my DMs. I'm not gonna regret being your friend, am I? Another thing I love doing is drawing you channel members for my videos. I feel really bad taking your money and I still feel like I don't deserve it, which is why I do my best to pay all you back in any way I can. Like you see this fan art over here? That's you guys right there, $5 a month, links in the description. Anyways, for this song, I wanted its second section to be a long, continuous shot with drawings of all my members. But you already know what happened. The GD Awards happened, and I got 52 members. 52, which meant I had to track down all 52 of you, make a bunch of community posts, guess your Discord usernames, commit sacred rituals on my ex-wife to know what y'all look like so I could fit it with the lyrics. Did I find all 52 of you? No. Who is Toaster? Who is Toaster? What do you want me to do? Just draw a plain old toaster in the middle of my video? I drew a plain old toaster. The guy probably didn't even see it. Which is why if you are a Pig Doodles member and I forgot to draw you in a video, let me know. Now I could plan shots for weeks on end, and believe me, I did. But knowing if my plans actually work is something else. Which brings us to the next new phase of animation, the testing phase. I want to make a bunch of doodles to find the best way to execute my ideas, and if these ideas even look good in the first place. These ideas being life, my pig self, the life doors, and the vast backgrounds. Now, I've always known I wanted the art of the musical to have a hand-painted feel. I thought being able to see each brushstroke would make the artistic scope feel much more authentic and ambitious. I already have some experience with that from my pigs and backgrounds with the end of the creativity video. Honestly, my favorite thing I've made pre-life, which is your cue to watch the video. What I didn't have experience with was glowy things. Now don't get me wrong, making tiny things look glowy is easy. Just look at my EXO thumbnail, that thing took like 5 seconds to make. But don't let your mom fool you. Life ain't a shorty. Look at my concept art for life and her doors. They look like if a Pokemon card got jammed in the printer. Now I would tell you how I found the solution to my problem, but that would require talent and skill. All I learned from art class was to make my stuff darker. So in most cases, I rely on my good old friend, the Guess and Check. And you can see that Guess and Check on the Tricky Gem channel, which is your cue to watch the video. You see, my usual technique to make my drawings more interesting is to use more than one color at once. But I found rather than going both yellow and orange with her, and instead using only yellows approaching the white, the glow feels more vibrant and less dark and warm. Now don't take my art advice seriously. I don't know what I'm doing. Just ask why I scrapped my drawing life tutorial after 5 minutes. But I will say that if you watch my behind the scenes stream, which is your cue to watch the video. Please excuse me, I need to pay my therapist. You would know that how I draw life involves mixing the designs of all the friends I tried to make in the video. All except Jenny Liv. Don't ask why I added Jenny Liv, that's none of your business. But yeah, bit of drawing life advice for you. With all that being said and all that testing and planning, I was finally ready to speedrun the actual animation of this thing. And that part of the process took the short time of a month and a half. A month and a half of work for 3 minutes of content. Don't get me wrong, the planning made some of it faster. I mean, making the movements was quick as trick, things past me. But honestly, I think I might have prepared too much for my own good. I was making everything way too systematic. I was like, okay, I'll make the life drawings on this day and the pig drawings on that day. I'll draw the life doors with all my members at 10 a.m. Philippine time so the Americans are still awake when I ask them. I'll do these parts at home when I have my better equipment, and I'll squeeze in these parts at college to fill in the boring subjects. In fact, I can draw the brown parts in sculpting class, life's outlines in painting class, color life in science class, then walk home, move my files to my Mac while calling the girl in my DMs, spend an hour after she makes an excuse to hang up to get over her, and then watch 4 hours of H-Bomber Guy while drawing the blue parts. And compared to my old do whatever I want method, that poses a lot of problems. For example, did you know that clumping making the same blue background and the same yellow character for 10 hours straight is boring as trick, and that I often find myself making excuses to not do my work? Also, the fact that doing some of the work at school with my crusty old laptop makes me motion sick, but doesn't matter. I made a brand new friend to fill in the Hawaii Part 2 girl-shaped hole in my heart. And the musical is looking pretty epic. It even references Mitsu from Sam Dow Chat. Now, okay, what's next on my to-do list? Oh. It's that time of the video, isn't it? Where I have to make the real song, where I can't do it alone anymore, where I actually have to talk to people. I'm gonna throw up. Yo everyone, what's going on? pigchefer here, and in this video, I become the Human Resources Manager of the pigchefer musical. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a big special trick you to pigchefer for assigning me this wonderful boon of a role. I say this because he knows I just love talking to these wonderful specimens on God's green earth. I'm not having mental breakdowns whenever I open Discord and see my 720 messages that I've sent to everyone all be ignored. I'm not taking 3 hours off animating because I'm so broken inside. The girl in my DMs hasn't replied to me in 3 weeks. I'm not going insane. You are. Anyways, my favorite place to do my job of human resources is online chats. I mean, after all, that's exactly how I hired Kukiko. Yeah, he's made a couple of soundtracks, won a couple of awards, could have probably filmed these inside shots 15 times better if I wasn't scared to ask. Online shots for film gear 12 times a day, and gave me this microphone, which I still don't know how to use. Do you like my engagement trap? Needless to say, I trust that man with my life. If anyone needs editing work, his DMs are open. Please, he needs money. But look, if finding gamers for this project was as easy as waiting for one guy to send you a text, I wouldn't have a job. Pig would toss me in the Tsar dungeon. First of all, this video is very long. If you think I'm just gonna give him half an hour's worth of music to make on his own, I don't know what to tell you. Second of all, yes, I have a bajillion contacts, but they're all from this wonderful, wonderful game called Geometry Dash. And if there's one thing I can tell you about GD folks is that some of you cannot be trusted. When I was a GD player, I was an expert at dumping projects after 10 minutes. You could start ideating 20 different videos, and in a year you'll pretend like you don't have a channel. So for this video, finding folks for this project, I gotta up my standards. I gotta find a gamer who commits. If I don't see a single video on your socials that ain't song related and it's just a random XL demon 100% mobile, don't even step in my human resources office. Get your filthy gamer coochie out my front yard. Which brings us to our first team member, Blue Thickfish, known for tying Febreze as the gayest man on earth. Unlike some people, he didn't actually find me from Exogame. In fact, he's one of the few guys on the planet who refunded that thing. He actually came because I talked about Hawaii Part 2 once. See guys, what did I tell you about that album? The wonderful thing about Fish here is that his music love ain't just talk. He posts like 10 billion songs a day. He's even done stuff for my videos before. I asked him for his fishy British voice in exchange for drawing his YouTube alter ego. Fortunately, I showed him the script and he gave me the same offer, his music for my drawings. And you know what? That's a deal right there. You're hired. Next up is Zeth, and look, I don't even need to tell you who this guy is, just play the clip. Yeah, he dropped the Yandere mobile. He dropped the Yandere mobile. How are you supposed to tell me that I can trust this guy? Okay, let's hear him out for just a sec. What else does he do? Oh, he's in this server and just sent some audio. Let's pop this bad boy open and see what this young lad has to say. Hold up. You made this? You're telling me you've done more with your life than the Yandere 81 mobile? So I showed him my script and demo and asked if he could help out, and in an instant, this man's face lit up. He was like, bro, please let me help with the song. He really wanted actual work in a real production and really thought this would help him. And I think at that point, I pretty much forgot he played that Forbidden game. He has that passion, and I live for gamers with that passion. You're hired. I forgive you for dropping the Yandere mobile. All right, now we're getting to the real sauce because it's Quabbin time, baby. All you need to know about Quabbs is that he's my goat. When a guy tells you he's classically trained, you know when your ears grace that SoundCloud, you're bound to hear the most elegant pieces known to man. And this guy's name is Soren Stavnicki. Holy trick, it's like this man was born to do music. So when Quabbs pulled up to my server, talking about music and whatever, I could not resist. Not even the fact that he voted Samifine for best video could hold me back. Don't worry, Quabbs, I forgive you. I was like, pull up to my DMs, here's the script, here's a song, can you please help me? Turns out he's been looking for a project like this forever. He's dreamed of making music for actual stuff, but could never find the motivation to, until now. This was his step. This was his pigchefer art. This is how he'll vote for someone other than Samifying next year. You're hired. And that's it. That's all the people I have to talk to this summer. Wait, you're saying I'm missing something. You're telling me I don't have a voice for life yet, and that I have to socialize even more. All right, we got our work cut out for us here. And you might be asking like, Pig, why the fuss? You have so many close friends. Surely you know someone that'll help. But listen, and I mean this in the most apologetic, inoffensive way possible. When I say the rarest thing in Geometry Dash is a woman with a high-pitched voice. If you don't believe me, hey, do something for me real quick. Name me just five players that fit this requirement. All right, you got Juniper. Yeah, she got a high-ish voice, I guess. And then there's the girl in my DMs. I mean, I don't think she likes me enough to help anymore, but she exists. And then, who else do we have? A woman who plays Exogame with a high-pitched voice. We have... Look, either I have negative Riz or we'll have to think of something else here. Fortunately, I was once a supreme Rizzler, and I still have one contact from the days I rizzed some Ghats. And listen, maybe I talked about her in the same video I'm asking for her help in, and maybe it was in an extremely negative light, and maybe my faith in humanity was single-handedly lost because of her, but hey, this girl's made 5 songs. And she's a fan of Olivia Rodrigo, based thing I've seen right there. And look, I'm no storyteller, That's pigchefer's job. But wouldn't it be crazy if the character who is literally my conscience was voiced by a person in my conscience? So much so that I wrote all of life's lines with her voice in mind. Wait, I'm not the storyteller. Trick. Anyways, I joined her now defunct server, told her my offer, and fortunately she didn't remember how hard I dissed her in middle school, so she accepted. Perfect, because if she did ever say no at any point in time, I don't know, I'd probably spend another like 7 months casting the role or something, but like that would ever happen. And from that day on, pigchefer never had to talk to another person again. Until one day I decided, like the sane human resources manager I am, to give her updates on the song. And bro, call my 8th grade self a dist or a prophet, because I'm pretty sure she didn't look at any of it. She didn't hear the demo, she didn't read the script, she didn't watch the animation, and you might be like, Pig, have some faith. And yeah, okay, tell me to have faith once she asked me if she'll be writing the song right after I send her the demo. Like, what are you on about? You were literally the one who taught me what a demo is. Are you kidding me right now? And then she told me she was busy. Partying. So she dropped. Hey, remember a few minutes ago when I said some GD players have no commitment? Yeah, I'd like to make a formal apology to all GD players because at least you don't stink as hard as her. What's her hardest anyway? It's like stereo madness or something. No worries though. It's not like life is an important part of if life was meant with a friend anyway. We already have a wonderful team to work with. And for more on that, let's pass the mic over to pigchefer. Ooh, what's up everybody? pigchefer here in the closet, and in this video I will be musically directing my team to ensure that all their songs work well with my vision for the film. You see, as an aspiring creative, I unfortunately have to learn that the world does not revolve around me, and I cannot get everything I want. As an example, I want to be normal, and the world says I'm neurodivergent. And why wouldn't they? Especially since what else would explain how I break down into tears in the middle of animating because I see the girl in my DMs playing Destiny for 8 hours straight, making me assume she's actually been pushing me away to have hot dates with an e-boy. Fortunately for us, she disappeared during a driving lesson, so I can finally focus on my job. As another example, I want people to know the exact sound I want for my musical, but the world says that would require a brain transplant. As you might recall from earlier, this is exactly why I made a demo, to help show my team the right instruments and notes and timings. But there's only so much a stinky old demo by a non-musical guy can do. Take Zeth for example. Zeth started work on the song months before everyone else. I guess Yandere 81 motivation was nothing to worry on at all. However, since this was so early in production, his only frame of reference was my stinky months-old inaccurate demo, which means for Zeth, he could either copy exactly what I've already made or blindly guess how I want it changed. And if those guesses were off from what's in my head, I would not have the proper lingo to correct him like a sane person. For example, take a look at this build-up in the demo. It's very tame and only really accelerates when the lyrics start again. And this is what Zeth copied in his first few drafts. However, my build-up is garbage and only a result of my skill issue. This part of the animation is supposed to be explosive and cathartic, not lame like my demo. So as the musical director, it is my job to tell Zeth to make it more intense. Make it more intense. Can you make it more intense?
Okay.
But some cases are less fixable than this. My practice with directing any other track is that if it's too different from what I really want, we can repurpose it somewhere else in the video instead of throwing it away. One of my favorite examples is when Kukiko hated his first version of the music in the scrapbook part, so I asked Quabs to reuse it for the closet scene. Or when Quabs made the transition to the live action scene too slow because I had no idea what a 12 bar was, but I still liked it so much that we used it for the credits. And the repurposed credits sound great! We cannot repurpose the opening musical. Unless, you think I'm gonna make a whole album of musicals or something. Like, what do you expect from me? My next 5 videos to have their own musical? Another job I have as musical director is to assign each member to the music that suits them best. This means I have to get a grasp of their current workload and what music styles they enjoy making the most. Now, a man with a sound mind would approach this by asking them meaningful questions that paint a better picture of their current inclinations. Personally, I resort to speaking as little as possible because people are scary, and instead stare at their Discord status to guess their schedule and overthink myself to fatal collapse over assumptions that my team has a grudge on me. For example, Blue Thick Fish is always online, but 9 times out of 10, he's playing the hit game Roblox, and so I always assume he's blowing trumpets with his ex. I also know that Fish is the only person on the team that has talked to all 2 of my ex-friends who glaze Hawaii Part 2. So as a musical director, I can conclude that if Fish is only free enough to make one track, it should be the one in this part that sounds like Stranded Lullaby. Don't ask why the footage is blurred, just pretend you can see what I'm talking about. Now, unlike Fish, Quabs has infinite free time. He also told me early on that he loved Thomas Newman's Pixar scores, so I chose to give him the job for all the live action parts of the video, the section of the video that's the most thoughtful and emotional. Now, Zeth has a lot of free time too, most of it spent playing Rocket League with the boys. However, Zeth found his strengths only fit the energetic chorus of the musical, so I only assigned him that part and let him keep leaguing his rocket at 3 a.m. All the parts Zeth left untouched, I passed over to Kukiko. I actually watched his live reaction to the demo the day after I finished it, and he told me that this was exactly his style. Perfect! What makes this even better was that after a while, I had enough progress from him and Zeth to tie my animation to the song, which meant that I could finally show my team what they would make for the video instead of choking on my lack of musical lingo, which meant better transitions, better instruments, better everything. All this work, all this wonderful progress for a project that doesn't even have a voice actor for the main character anymore. Surely the next person will work out and I won't have to talk to another person again after that. Please, 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 please. Okay, we're not completely out of options here. Y'all remember the girl that played Jameson in the first job video?
Welcome to Tricky Jeopardy!
Well, she cannot sing, but I'm still gonna give her a shout out anyway because she still appeared in the video and also she's nice to me. Follow her Instagram, links in the description. She's also goated because she knows many women. And fortunately, one of them is a girl that can sing. She sent me some sample vocals. I thought they were charming enough, so I hired her. But let me tell you, there were problems. Not problems with her. Fortunately, she reads my messages, unlike some people. But still, there's only so much I can control when dealing with a team. One of these problems, and let me know if you see the problem here, is that her audio sounded something along the lines of... Oh, you don't have a mic. This country's so poor, man. Why is this country so poor? I mean, I get it. I made my first 3 animation videos without a mic and I still got sucked off by Geostorm. But listen, people already leave the theater the second a musical starts playing. People already hate my audio so much that 90% of you click off before the end screen. I think it's fair to want people to actually listen to the song I've already sung 8 months in. So you know what I did? I put my microphone in a bag, I asked for an address, and I shipped it to her house. Like the wonderful, sociable boss that I am. But perhaps the biggest problem I had to face here as music director was that people have lives. It might come as a surprise to you that people like me who have so few responsibilities and time touching grass that you can spend 10 hours a day on projects that will flop in the algorithm are few and far in between. In reality, people my age are very busy. This girl can schedule a time to record, but things could pop up and she'd delay it by a week. And then delay it again. And again. And again. And the moment she's finally free is an hour before midnight and you're struggling to keep your eyes open while you give her instructions, and she tells you she's actually sick so she can't use her voice and also could not set up Audacity, and I don't even know how to set up Audacity either, so we had to get Kukiko and download some more software, and oh wait, the app's actually paid and we wasted our time and So I told her the day after, I was like, hey, I love you, none of this is your fault, but this ain't working out. Just like the events of February 6th. Oh, I just love human connection. So I got my mic back, kissed it on the lips, and then started screaming in my sleep. But then a miracle happened. Gamers, say hello to Eva Butcher. You see, while animating this video, I stumbled on Eva's existence and added her on Discord. She seemed like the voice acting type, so I asked her if she was in, and she agreed. Well, it turns out not only does she voice act, but she has an actual music career with an actual music fan base and sings actual original songs that she writes and produces herself. Not to mention, the songs were sick. I was jamming out, and I was like, bro, I'm literally making a song for this video. Like, you don't understand how much I was freaking out. I literally asked for her help as a joke. I thought she was just some random girl. Now, you're probably asking how I got in contact with this person and where she came from, and I would tell you because the story really is interesting if it were not for a severe legal contract to keep it under wraps, and I'd probably be held hostage if I said a single thing. With that said, this video is sponsored by iCreate Pro. Have you ever wanted clout and fame beyond your wildest dreams without even a sliver of effort? Have you ever gotten hurt because a guy called your 3-year-long musical project animation slop because they just want to see you beat Tartarus on your Apple Watch or something? Well, look no further, because Camilla's got your back and she just invented cheating. Just pop this bad boy on your 2018 family iPad and you'll be clicking between frames like doggy in no time. Look how happy he is. You know who else is happy right now? Nero is with his $100 bills. His artist just can't let go and he still managed to make 1,000 videos about to coop in circles. You can be Nero too with this wonderful macrobot, now available when you give this lady your time and money. Not to mention the many texture packs made by undereducated, unaffiliated graphic designers, songs not on Newgrounds so the mods have no excuse not to send passion, and creator hacks you can only use on mobile to impress your 2 real friends who still care about this game. So check out the link in the description to start your free trial and use my referral link pigchefer to save 50 cents off your order. That's 50 cents. You could be using that on your college tuition or something. What am I saying? I know you're all 14. Thank you so much to iCreate Pro for sponsoring today's video, and thanks again to Camilla for helping me out with this in the first place. This has nothing to do with what we were talking about. These two topics are not related whatsoever. I just wanted to get a last-minute sponsor. Yeah, that's all. Anyways, let's just say that I found Eva off a referral of a referral of a referral. I think I can say that, right? I'm not gonna get sued. Please. Anyways, all you need to know about Eva is that like all Aussies, she's a total wild card. You never know what you're gonna get. And if you know my goat SD Cubing, who made 5 seconds of graphics for the musical on a whim, you know I just love a wild card. Sometimes I might be yapping in the group chat about random video stuff, and 10 seconds later she enters the convo and knows exactly how to solve my problems because apparently Australians just have 7 billion skill sets. She helps with editing, mixing, auto-tune, distribution, art, the video description, pronouns. I might be in utter anguish about assigning parts in the soundtrack, and suddenly Eva's on an 8-hour train ride with nothing to do and offers to make some of the music for us. This wasn't even what she signed up for, but now there's 2 songs credited under her name. My goat. The downside of being a wild card, though, is that we literally never have any idea what she's up to. Some days she'd respond in 2 business seconds, but other days we'd have to perform our sacred rituals to fortune tell her current condition. And honestly, I get it. Have you seen the amount of SoundCloud rappers she gets messages from? If the girl with no mic is what you call busy, then better call Eva the next Mr. Beast, except not controversial. She could be at work, at college, at her family's, at the bar drinking Pride Juice, on a date, sick at home, at a concert. She could have flown to New Zealand and no one on the team would be surprised. But I wouldn't have known that because no one tells me anything anymore. I swear, talking to people online is like playing 4D chess with 50-hour ping, and instead of your queen, it's your entire self-image. So do you want to guess what happened with her vocals? Do you? Do you? She got busy, so she dropped out. Again, not without doing God's work though. I'm still super thrilled that she was part of the team and helped us so much, and the project would not be the same if it weren't for the referral of a referral of a referral. Thank you, Greenie. However, you might notice that there is still one part missing. And I have no idea what to do anymore. But doesn't matter, college starts again in 2 weeks. I don't have time to mope around. I gotta start asking everyone. So I asked my friend group. I asked YouTuber sisters. I asked Frosted Caribou. I asked the troll level lady. I went on Fiverr. I went on Twitter. We thought about using AI. We thought about rewriting the song. I went up to Tricky Jim and he told me I should sing the song myself. Then I'd scream in agony in my server. I even asked the middle school girl again. I don't know what the trick I expected, but she just made some more excuses. How am I supposed to find anyone when I can't spoil the video? I can only ask people who have no idea who I am. This search will never end. Which means it's time for another episode of Search for the Voice Actor for Life. Alrighty guys, everybody got your boxing mitts on because this might just be the hardest episode of Search for the Voice Actor we've ever done. So let's go to Gold Town. What we have here are 10 individual options we have to pull the gold. And before we get started, I just want to give a massive shout out to 24FPS for helping me find some of these people. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't know any women. So, quick recap on the last episode. We tried Yes Girl, we tried Eva, we tried our holy Aunt Jemima with no flipping mic. If you want this video out before I go back to college forever, we need options fast. So I tried looking for professionals. They were too expensive. Your Uncle Ando spent his entire bank account on the OST. What are you gonna do? Then I asked my older cousin for help, but she says she can't sing. I even looked into a few college classmates. They got some pretty tight skits, but I'm getting desperate. And then I opened YouTube. Ooh, what's crack-lackin' everybody, and welcome back to what is your favorite part of every Unlisted Leaf video, hashtag TV with Ando. And know what you're thinking, like, Ando, what are you doing on this random girl's channel? Why aren't you working on your massive video? And well, little Timmy, get this. I actually found Rifushi back around May of last year. Maybe it's because your Uncle Ando was binge-watching too much Emirichu, but it was actually quite fortunate because her channel's full of slappers. It's kind of like my channel, except if I actually had a life. Anyway, so I was chewing on my mom's deviled egg sandwich, right? And that's when I come across this video. And so I click on it, right? And it's just your typical scripted video. Then I get to the comment section, and everyone and their mum is out here talking about the surprise at the end. And that got me pumped up. And that's when I get to the end of the video, when I find none other than Rifushi singing. So guys, while we get into these packs, I want to tell you guys about how I got her onto the project. So it was about June of 2024 when I was doing my second full binge watch of all Rifushi videos. And that was when I came across this video. This was a video that I actually found a channel from. I'll actually pop it on screen right now. And around the middle of the video, she said this.
I'd always wished that I had interesting stories or like a hot voice. I don't know what it's...
And at that moment, I was shouting at my screen like, what the absolute mother duck are you on about right now? Don't tell me you're giving your voice some nasty. And it was also at this very moment when I thought, wouldn't it be the greatest thing ever if I got her voice for a video? But I know what you're thinking. You're like, Ando, she's busy with her sponsors and a wonderful life. You really think she's gonna talk to you and all that? But Uncle Ando's getting desperate right now. And if there's one thing I know about my fellow YouTubers, is that they understand the content grind. So I pull up to my email at like 10 a.m. and I was like, Rifushi, I'm your biggest fan. You're my absolute main man right now. Here's my finished video. Here's our finished soundtrack. How would you like to voice the main character? And so I waited a couple days and got no response, and I started to tell myself, Ando, what are you doing? Thinking like you even had a shot. But on Sunday at about 7 a.m., I got an email from none other than Rifushi, and she was like, Ando, I'm in. Yeah, apparently she was gonna say no because she was scared she wouldn't do well, which is why the reply took so long. But then her friends were like, whoa, what the flip are you on about right now? This might just be the most epic proposition you will ever get. So she hops on Discord and we start recording around Tuesday. We finish the normal lines in about an hour, no biggie. Then we get to the musical, and oh mama, this part is spicy as. Now I know you're probably like, Ando, what the mac and cheese and meatballs are you talking about? This song is the most basic thing I've ever heard. Get out of town. Well, hold on to your pants. Here, I want you to pause this video right now, and I want you to try to sing the entire song. I'll even link the full instrumental on Kukiko's channel down in the description, but promise me this. No cuts, no extra takes, just one whole go. Now, if you pause this video and try for yourself, you'll realize this is the hardest song ever recorded on Unlisted Leaf. The timing is even tougher than Statue Arceus, and the range. Oh mama, the vocal range. This song has what might just be the highest and lowest notes ever created. And I didn't realize this, right? Until we started recording. And she could not hit those notes for the life of her. Now, maybe I should have expected it. Maybe I should have listened when she said she can't put more than one tone of voice in her videos. But college starts again in 2 weeks, so I decided, you know what? Let's bring out the big guns. Let me bring my main man Eva and say, Eva, I think it's time we bring out the auto-tune. So after about 12 hours of attempts, we managed to get a few decently timed takes. I send it out to Eva to auto-tune and get it back the next day. But then I get a DM from none other than Kukiko, and he's like, Ando, what kind of auto-tune is this? Did you use your mom's waffle mixer or something? And at this point I was praying to Arceus upstairs and like, Arceus, I know I ripped your Rainbow Rare Charizard. I know I burned all your Steam Siege, but please don't let us record again for another 12 hours. Well, get this. We didn't record for another 12 hours. We recorded for the next 3 days. And at this point I was thinking the video would never be done, my fans would never see Unlisted Leaf ever again, but if anything was on our side, Rifushi was very committed to the project now. Not just the fact that she was more used to the song and had much more practice with it, but also that she genuinely wanted the song to sound good. I thought if I had to upload the auto-tune version, we would never get to 3 million subscribers. But she pulled through. Every morning she would give me a call, right, and she'd be like, Ando, what do you think of these new couple takes? And then I would listen to them, and holy Aunt Jemima in West Virginia, I was jamming out. After she finished everything, I was like, you know what? This is gonna be the greatest video in Unlisted Leaf. Send it. So all we had to do was see if Kukiko liked it. So hold on to your mom's SpaghettiOs, and let's go to Gold Town. What do you reckon we're gonna get on our last pack? Do Arceus bless it with the McNasty? Let's find out in 3, 2, 1, boom. Ah! We pulled it! We pulled the successful life sport tag in the top. Pikachu! 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 Pikachu!
What are you doing?
But do you want to know the hardest part of making this whole song? Do you want to know what it really was? It was not the fact that Rifushi lived on the other side of the world, forcing me to call her early in the mornings and wake up my entire family. It was not the fact that every single time we finished the mix of this song, we find another 10 things we want to fix with it, causing me to get 10 panic attacks a second. And it was not the fact that I nearly got banned off the face of her planet because I said the words, "Hello, I'm Rifushi." Here, watch this. Hello, I'm Rifushi. Do you want to know? Do you really want to know? The hardest part of finishing this song was that Rifushi is a person who I talk to and who I like talking to. And when there's a person who I talk to and who I like talking to, very bad things start to happen. Do you recall the part in my last video where every single time I found someone new in my life, my list of things I should be would grow longer and longer? Do you want to imagine what that list looks like now? Do you want to know how long this video would be if I read that list to you? And don't use this as an excuse to call me a simp, she already did that. But mostly because I feel this way with everyone on the team. Kukiko? Whenever Kukiko says anything in class, I literally just want to stand up and applaud like a crazy person. Quabs? Are you kidding me? Do you know how many movies I want to watch with that guy? I mean, come on. Eva? Look, I'm not gonna lie, she's scary as trick, but I'm sure she's a wonderful, wonderful woman with a wonderful, wonderful career. Do I want to be close to them? Yes, of course I do. I want to be their friend. I want to be their best mate. I want to be the guy. But very bad things will start to happen. Do you want to know what my very last conversation with Rifushi was about? I told her that I was scared that asking her for help would make it hard to watch her anymore. I don't want it to be this way, trust me. But sometimes people just scare me. And there's nothing I can do about it. And if you're looking at me and thinking I'm the most delusional guy on earth, you're completely right. Because 2 weeks, 1 day, and 3 hours after I released my video, she released her own video on her own channel. And I kid you not, when I saw that jump scare of a video on my homepage, my heart jumped out of my chest and crashed into the Nile. I felt anxious just seeing that one title and that one thumbnail by that one creator for like half my morning. But why? I don't know. I wasn't like this before. Whenever she uploaded something new before this fiasco, I'd be more jazzed than your mom on Valentine's and I would pop that thing on the telly within 2 business seconds. I can't do that anymore because of my stinky anxiety, bro. This is exactly what happens half of the time. You know when Trick in Hawaii Part 2 lady uploads her 75th FNAF analysis or the girl in my DMs tweets anything, I go into panic. Why do I go into panic? Why do I suddenly not want to open Twitter anymore? Now, if there's one thing to be grateful for is that the reader from Canada has no Discord to religiously avoid. All I gotta do with you is be afraid of Goodreads. I mean, oh no, I can't use Goodreads anymore. I can't talk to the 5 people who use Goodreads. Listen, I am probably part of the 1% of people sub to Rifushi whose relationship with her is slightly less parasocial. I mean, I don't even know if she considers me her friend, and trust me, I'm not asking her. But you know what? Despite everything that's happened in this wonderful, definitely not horrifying tale of a video, I kinda half wish she stayed a stranger. I don't want to know what she thinks. I don't want to know what she feels. I don't want to know what she does. Fortunately, I don't know that much. I got too scared to keep talking to her before I could know that much. But if I'm already on the verge of screaming my arms out loud after a mere 10 hours of calls, if I've come this far, this fast, how much worse will I get in the real world? What's gonna happen when I step into college one day and they give me 10 group film projects and I have to talk with the really cool and fun folks in class in my group who are so trick and epic that I want to have lunch with them every day of my life? But I know if I do, I'll become too attached and I'll learn too much and my heart will beat 1,000 beats per second and I explode. It's just never gonna end. I'm never gonna stop feeling this way. So I guess I'll have to get used to it. I'm gonna have to talk some more. I'm gonna have to find some random, inexplicable excuse to ask some help from everyone on the team again and riz them up mid-conversation to try to be their friend. Get ready for the next 7 years when Zeth will finally beat the Yandere Mobile and I see that video and my heart only rises at 250 beats per minute. I mean, it can't be that hard, right? Talking with Lucky and Ness is easy. That guy's my goat and he's helped me with videos and I don't feel like complete total garbage whenever he makes some Skibbity Ohio community post in the mornings. Why can't my brain always work like that? Why can't life be that easy? Why can't I just be completely normal? But it's over now. This video is finally uploaded. There will be no more musicals. And I will never have to talk to anyone again. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and watch your reactions? I did make this video partially to surprise people, so surely we'll get some fantastic hoots and hollers from these prestigious YouTube figures, and all my work will have been completely worth it, right?
I made a life, dreaming was her name. Making nothing but dreaming was her name. Lives in the shade, yet life.
Wait. Why is no one saying anything? Why is no one surprised at the song? Jam Attack is too decaffeinated. Lucky and us reacted to the wrong video. All Alex said in his reaction was Twin Fantasy.
Twin Fantasy.
This is treason of the highest order. But this guy used the song on a Rhythm Doctor level. And Lo made some epic fan art inspired by the song. She's a Base 3 Fuji fan. Go follow her on Insta or something. As you should with everyone who worked on the musical. They're all so talented and I could not do this without them. They deserve all your subscribers, and if I don't see all of them at 10,000 subs before next week, I will go take a nap. Which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now. Thanks for watching. Next video will be more normal. I promise. And stop recording. Okay. That video took a lot longer than I thought.